praise Jesus in all his glory.
Lotharios.
He's talking about you.
True hand-to-God miracle is what it is.
That's the gospel truth.
Leave the rest up to Jesus!
Well, Kevin and Sam Sorbo, it's great to have you here on Charisma News to talk about this new film that you have coming up, The Miracle in East Texas, which both of you guys are starring in. And Kevin, you directed. And I haven't had a chance to see the screener or anything with this yet, but the clips that I've been sent look like this is an amazing, amazing film. And it's a true story. So I'd like to hear about where the idea for this film actually came from, and what are your hopes for that?
Well, the idea came from Dan Gordon. He's an Oscar-nominated writer. He wrote the script actually many, many decades ago for Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
It kind of feels like that, like they would be good for that part.
Yeah,
too.
it was a timing issue for both of them, and they just sort of disappeared. And Newman was deciding, he was getting older, he decided less and less. He just didn't want to get involved, whatever. But Dan brought it to us because we worked with him before. Like Sam wrote a script called Let There Be Light, and Dan came in and did a polish on it. And it's just a fantastic story. And we love true stories. It's a true story set in 1930. It's about two con men that went through Oklahoma and Texas, wooing widows out of their money in fake oil wells. They would sell 500% of the shares, declare a dry hole, move to the next town. And,
Wow.
It's amazing how big these are real con artists, real film guys. They're doing it was really evil what they're doing because they're right in the heart of the Depression. People, when our country was at the highest unemployment we've ever had. And they ultimately strike oil, largest oil find ever. And of course, they get arrested and they're in, they go to court. And
so I'm going to argue the opposite side.
Okay.
They were really, it was the heart of the Depression. They were offering people hope.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're going to strike oil or not. Now, overselling the oil wells was a bit of a stretch, but anyway, the miracle that they struck oil. And then the ensuing miracles is really what makes the story so incredible. Yeah. And the fact that it's an entirely true story.
And John Ratzenberger's character was an oil guy. He was a real oil guy.
Yes.
My guy, pretty much a con artist because he did a lot of different names, did a lot of different things. He would try to sell magic elixirs and all kind of stuff. But it was John's character that really said, we're staying here.
Yeah,
Doc Everett, I'm going to stay here and make this thing happen because we can bring in oil. I said, we'll get arrested. No, we won't. They'll build statues to us, So, but it's won 10 film festivals, everything from best comedy to family favorite, best faith-based movie. I mean, they can't pigeonhole it because it has so much going on. Best director, thank you very much.
There you go. That's
Hollywood
good.
wouldn't pay attention to it because it's a movie kind of movie they used to want to do.
It's the old kind of Hollywood movie.
With real character development, no visual effects. I mean,
where
what are you
you
going to do?
leave the theater sort of uplifted, feeling like you learned something, feeling like you could be a better person, feeling good about yourself too. It's just a lot of fun.
Yes,
and it's great for families.
Yeah.
And I should throw in, I wrote a curriculum. I'm a big homeschool advocate, so I wrote a homeschool curriculum that is actually intended more because I want to convert people. I want people to join the fold of homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really perfect for families who have, they're too afraid to try. But this is just the perfect sort of vehicle to introduce them to how much they personally, because parents have a lot to offer their children. And we learn this actually reading the Bible. God puts the parents in charge of the education of the children. It never says, find a good school for your kids or find a good teacher for your kids.
Find a good public school run by government.
So this is a free download. It's available at sorbostudios.com where you can find everything about the film, including tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a free download. There are spoilers in it because, of course, it deals with, having seen the film.
Sure.
But the answers are there for the parents. So I'm not trying to, stick up anybody and, stump them or anything. The film deals with the theme of forgiveness. This is an important theme in our culture, especially today's culture.
And redemption.
The cancel culture where you make one mistake and you're gone,
Because, those people that do that, they're perfect human beings. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever.
Your sarcasm.
There's a little bit of sarcasm.
There's a little bit of sarcasm in there. My goodness. Well, I love that you're taking this. It's not just a film that is going to be great. I mean, I really want to go take my wife to see this. I think it'll be a lot of fun. because she loves true stories, especially.
Yes, so do
But
I.
the thing that that you're incorporating the homeschool, education with this, and you're able to help people be able to teach these practical lessons about faith and
Well, also
character.
about the economy, the
Yeah.
depression,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship,
Yep.
the value of oil, what oil helps us with, why oil is such an important commodity in our
Hmm.
lives. And there are a lot of different themes that we explore in the movie. There's even the symbolism
Yeah.
that's happening in the movie. And these are just discussion questions
Sure.
to encourage a discussion after the film. So you can go and be entertained
Hmm.
and still come away a better person, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of the entertainment that I see coming out of Hollywood is really just pablum. It doesn't better you. It
Yeah.
doesn't help
Right.
you.
There's a lot of
You
anger, a
leave the
lot of hate.
theater kind of feeling exhausted,
Well, it's a roller
maybe,
coaster ride. It's all
right?
visual effects.
And
Hmm.
and then and then nothing. I
Yeah.
suppose you have something to talk about with your friends a little bit, but it's not like a discussion of importance. It's sort of a
Right.
discussion of why they, I don't know, why there were so many train cars falling off the cliff.
Yeah, I grew up being homeschooled, and I know that my mother would have
Oh,
really appreciated the work that you've put into this to be able to have extra discussion. And that's one of the reasons that my
thank you.
parents decided to homeschool myself and my sister throughout our entire, grade school. And then but the discussions that we would have after movies or TV shows, we were always looking for the where can we find Jesus in this, and where can we find what can we learn from this? And I know that this film has a lot of those opportunities there, and you've highlighted that. So this is going to be very helpful for parents, even if you're not homeschooling, but it'll help you maybe
Yeah.
tiptoe into the waters of homeschooling, which I am totally an advocate for.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we want to keep doing is making movies like this. That's what
Yeah.
Sorbo Studios does. I mean, Hollywood is doing a very good job of where can you find Satan in this one? Because he's everywhere. So we're trying to do the opposite and do movies that have a positive effect on people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your favorite scene in this film? Because the two of you guys get to work together. How is that? How is that?
I know what her scene is. Go say it.
Well, it's my scene. It's the courtroom scene. It's like the pivotal scene in the movie.
It's
So
a
of
great,
people
it's
can
a,
be
it's a great
saved.
scene.
it's my favorite scene.
Now, I know that the law might say they deserve prison, but I'm supposedly the one they wronged. And I would ask you to set them free.
I like the scene I have with John Ratzenberger when we discover the oil.
Mm.
I'm the one who says we need to get out of Dodge right now. Let's go to California. Plenty of oil there. And he says, "You're telling me after I do this, I've been trying to bring in oil all my life? I'm more concerned with the Texas Rangers than the Holy Spirit, and let alone the lynch mob."
Texas Rangers. Nobody's gonna lynch you. Once you bring that black gold out of the ground, it'll be their salvation. They'll build statues to us and put them in parks where the children play.
Yes, and the pigeons will relieve themselves on our likenesses. Because his name was DH, was his initials, and they call him Dry Hole.
Mm.
Everett, because there was two occasions where he was so close to striking oil, he either ran out of money or just gave up. Somebody would come in and go down another 1,000 feet and strike oil. So he
Mm.
was known as just bad luck. And now that it hit, he just totally forgot about really all the scams we had done on all these women. And he said, "I'm bringing this in. I'm an oil man. I'm going to bring this in."
And John Ratzenberger really brought it.
Yeah.
I mean, he showed up in a big
He
way
did a
for
great
this
job.
movie and did a phenomenal job. And I'll point out that because it's a comedy, there were outtakes and there
Mm.
were scenes that we had to cut that we put at the end of the movie that are hilarious.
People
And
will
so,
love, yeah, stick around for the
That's good
credits.
to know.
Definitely
yeah.
Yeah.
stick around.
So, we feel so blessed that we get to explore our creative energy in this fashion and also
Yeah.
bring this to the world as uplifting entertainment. It's really quite extraordinary what we've been able to do.
Yep.
Yeah. The scenes that I've seen in the trailer, I mean, really does make you laugh. And so it's going to take you through the whole roller coaster of emotions, not because of visual effects or anything like that, but it's
Right.
going to take you through the character development. And I think that's one of the things that's really missing in a lot of
Oh, yeah.
films. And even the movies that I've seen recently, my wife and I would discuss, and we're like, there's no character development. I don't
Right.
Yeah.
care anything about this character. I don't even know their name by the time that I've finished this movie.
Well,
But
that's part of the worst piece of Hollywood that has come out of. I'm going to go all the way back to the '60s. Is the fact that they laud the antihero as the hero,
Yeah.
and if
mm,
you're really paying attention, you're looking at it and you're saying, "But he's kind of a bad guy. Why am I applauding what he's doing?" Okay, he's beating up worse guys, but and so yeah, that's a direction that we decided not
No,
to
a lot
take.
of the bad guys are beating up bad guys. Really are good guys too. I mean, you look at Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. I mean, great movie, Robert
mhm.
Redford, Paul Newman. But I guarantee you, Butch and Sundance in real life weren't that good looking. They weren't that quippy with the dialogue, and
They weren't
they
that
were bad
charming,
guys. They weren't that charming. These
right?
guys
Yeah.
were bad guys. And the '60s did change everything. But Hollywood, I fell in love with the whole idea of becoming an actor from the old movies from the '40s, '50s.
Mm,
I mean, even the '60s. I mean, the character development was massive in all those movies. We didn't have special effects in.
Yeah.
right.
And you know, you look at the great movies out there from Casablanca to Philadelphia Story, whatever it may be. I mean, it's just there were so many good movies out there. When Harry Met Sally, which is a '90s movie, I
Yeah.
think, or an '80s. I
They
mean,
did a great
just
job.
great
Yeah.
dialogue,
Yeah.
romantic
Mhm.
comedy like that. And Hollywood has gotten away from that. And one thing I got to say about this movie, I forgot to mention. I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. All of the music, except about one or two songs, were from 1930 or earlier. All the cars are 1930 or earlier. The train in the
The
movie is one of
train,
only two trains left in North America that were 1930 or earlier.
Wow.
steam
So
engine.
it was wonderful to have all this real stuff. And we had an amazing local cast out of Canada. We shot this up in Canada.
Yeah.
And I know people go, Canada? That's not East Texas. And I go, well, we used a ranch that Clint Eastwood used in Unforgiven. If it's good enough for Clint, it's good enough for Kevin Sorbo.
And I do
That's
want
really
to
good.
point out, if you go to Sorbo Studios, you can sign up for the emails. So
Mhm.
one of the things that we've really enjoyed doing is telling a lot of the behind the scenes
Mm,
about the creation of this
Yeah.
movie, how it happened, but also there's a great story that comes on the heels of the movie 10 years later. It's not part of the movie, it's part of our history.
Yeah.
ah,
And we are losing American history. We aren't teaching it in our schools.
No, they're rewriting it or just
We're
make it
rewriting
disappear.
it.
Yeah.
We're dismantling it, and I think it's important because we tell our children you should be proud to live in the United States of America. The
The
It
schools
seems
aren't
like
telling
the
kids
whole
that today.
culture is telling them don't be
Yeah.
proud to live in
mm,
America. This is an evil country. It's not an evil country. The only reason that this country has been so successful is because it adopted God
Yeah.
yeah.
as its foundation. And
And
so,
now students want to, Yale, all these old schools, they want to take all these plaques down that
yeah,
have God in it. Here's what
Mhm.
I say. I'm happy to spend my tax dollars this way. All those people that want to turn America into a socialist country, I'm happy to send them to North Korea, Cuba, Russia, Venezuela. There's so many utopia states and countries they can move to. I think they should go there. And I bet you within a short period of time, they don't want to come back to America. They need to understand. I think there's a huge ignorance as to
Yeah.
the reality that they're trying to create.
I spent 8 years as a missionary to 15 different countries when I was with Youth of the Mission, and I loved the people when I was there and the places that God had sent me for that time. But whenever I came back, there's this new appreciation for what you
Sure.
have.
yes,
There is this gratitude that you have whenever you're able to have a different perspective. And for
yes.
people
Yep.
that have never stepped foot outside of their cushy, uh, you know, their cushy college careers or whatever they want to do,
Yeah.
you know, they've never tasted the real world. They've never seen what it's like,
No.
and to know how
Well, I
good
mean,
we have it.
you see it today in the
Well,
push against oil.
mm,
And they're protesting with their iPhone. Your iPhone is made from oil, right?
oil. Get ready. Get rid of your computer, your clothes. There's a lot of things that come from oil. Hair dryer,
But
gone
Mhm.
they're complaining,
because they don't
Yeah.
know. There's an uneducated ignorance about it all, and it's just
which is why I advocate for homeschooling.
yeah,
Amen.
exactly.
Amen. I'm
And
right there
people
with
fight
you.
back on that, but I say, you know what? Like she always says, so a system that you went from kindergarten through 12th grade on, you don't feel prepared to teach a first grader. So what does that
Mm.
say about what you just learned or didn't learn?
Wow. I'm very grateful that my parents, had that investment into myself and my sister, because I didn't learn just what to learn, but also how to learn and break
Yeah.
that down. And I appreciate that you guys are taking those extra steps and not just creating an amazing film that will entertain and make people laugh, and make people think, but you're going to teach people through this process as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, John, not even go to Sorbo Studios for what we got going on with movies and things, but you go there for her books and her. I mean, she's got a number of books on educating. I mean, one of the blessings of COVID is 2 million more families are now homeschooling because they saw the ridiculousness of our school boards and our public school system.
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think one of the things that people realized is that, education is a natural thing.
Mhm.
We've doctored it in our schools to make it unnaturally difficult, unnaturally
Yeah,
challenging. But honestly, children are born curious. And the
yeah.
first thing we teach them to do in school is to sit down and shut up. It's the worst thing.
Can I
It's
ask a question? No. Why
it's
are you raising your hand? Just ask the question.
anti-educational. So,
Yeah.
the sooner we get the kids out of school and this, the better off they will be. They will teach themselves. They will want to learn.
Mhm.
And that's the exciting part.
Everything government runs, they destroy. I mean, a perfect example is Ronald Reagan's quote. He's got many that are awesome. And he said, "These are the words to fear. I am from the government, and I'm here to help."
And it's amazing how many people have said that recently
Yeah.
without the sarcasm, but they've truly meant it. And that we've seen the
Oh,
degradation
I
of
know.
society because of that. So
They want cradle to grave responsibility for our lives. Trust me.
yeah. So so sorbostudios.com is where everybody can get the information about
Yep.
this. This film is a Fathom event, and it is October 29th and 30th.
Yep.
And we're praying that actually continues on, as a lot of these faith-based films have been doing, that
I got
that
one
they
more thing to push. I got a
yes.
new book out called Brave Books. Please go to
Before you go,
bravebooks.com. What?
before you say that, because we were on the movie, go buy
Okay.
your tickets today.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
helps us if we have a lot of pre-sales, because
Yep.
then the theaters are inclined to keep the movie
Yep.
overnight, an extra day or two or more. So, and
Independent movies don't have $100 million advertising budget like Avatar and Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah,
So
so
we
we
need word
really
of mouth.
need word
Do
of
what
mouth.
for this movie what you all did for God's Not Dead. That $2 million movie made $140 million. So God
Wow.
bless you all
And
for
it
that.
reached a
But
lot
we've
of
had
people,
a
and
lot
it
of
did
yeah.
a lot of good
I
in the
get
world.
emails every day from
Yeah,
somebody saying I became a Christian because of your movie. So
yeah.
a movie like this one, Miracle in East Texas, is just a fun PG rated. You can take your 6 and 7 year old.
Yeah,
It's
and
all
you can
fine.
consider it your form of evangelism. You
Yep.
share the movie, invite friends, go online, buy your tickets, screenshot it, and send that to your friends so they know what theater you're going to, what
Yeah.
show you're going to be.
Good
They
idea.
can even see what seats you've got and sit next to you. So we're really encouraging people to have a fun night out with your family at the theaters and invite your friends.
Yep.
That is
Meanwhile, I do have a book
Yes,
out. So
yes.
go to
Talk about the book.
bravebooks.com, and I wrote a book called The Test of Linehood that
I
we read
don't
when I'm
have
here.
it. No.
Oh, shame on us. And it's downstairs in my office. We're in Sam's beautiful office. And it deals with letting boys be boys, let boys grow, like
Mm.
really let kids be kids. And what we're doing to our kids today is crazy. There's a wonderful little story about a little lion cub named Lucas, and he ends up saving his little sister's life when she gets cut by a very
But he has
poisonous
to be
plant.
very, very
He's
brave.
got to
And
find a
so
way
he
to find
learns how to
brave.
be
Yep.
brave.
Yep. And it's a wonderful book. It's called The Test of Blinded. Go to bravebooks.com. You get a free autographed copy from me, and then join for 1 year, get a new book every month for the next 12 months. And it's a wonderful 4 to 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds is really the age range in there. But it's a
Wow.
wonderful book about morals and values. And it doesn't,
Yeah, the whole
it's just
series
wonderful.
is
Yeah.
great. People really, really love it for their kids.
That's really cool. You guys
Yeah.
said earlier that in the 60s, the media really started focusing on the anti-hero and how that was who was lauded and applauded, really. And we've seen how that has really helped people be confused in our world today. And as we're recording this, Israel is at war with Hamas, and people don't know what side is right, and
Yeah.
what's good and bad. And what you guys are doing, I believe, will really help people to be able to make these decisions appropriately and not look for how you can align with the bad guys and the anti-heroes. And so thank you guys for being heroes,
Thank you for
because
saying that.
you guys are doing such a good job with Sorbo Studios and all the things that you're involved with. Keep up the great work. We're believing in you. We're believing for you and praying for you
Thank
as
you.
well. So
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
thank you guys.